Sorry guys, difficult circumstances for us all to meet. I normally like to make a speech where I just do some bullet points and I just let my heart speak out. Today I think my brain is not quite working, so I'm just gonna read what I could jot down. Remembering Elvis. I apologize, I make it 5 pages. Actually, I wanted to make it forever. Garth, Ben, Josh, family members that couldn't be present, old friends, present or not. Almost 4 years ago, we were together to celebrate the communion of our love, Tony and I. Today, once again, we are united with new friends to celebrate one of the fruits of our love. I don't want you all to go home today feeling so much of our pain, so I want to start by sharing some thoughts. A few days ago, I was in my garden trimming the grass, the hedges, and we have these bush-like plants growing over the pond, and it was creating too much shades over the fishes. The plant had its flowers opened a few weeks ago when we moved in, and the bees were pollinating it. But this time the bees were no longer there, so I didn't care very much, and I just trimmed most of it so the plant grows up instead of sideways over the pond. After I did that, I realized I thought of the fish and of the bees, but I didn't think of the flowers were to turn into fruits so the plant could reproduce. Sometimes our life is trimmed and we must grow a different way. I could use the word loss today, but I prefer to use the word change. One of the things I've learned with my wife Tony and her hypnobirthing lessons is that you can drive the pain away by rephrasing it in a way your brain can understand and assimilate what is happening to you. For example, instead of saying contractions, she teaches her moms to use words like surges or waves. Change. When moments like these, people talk about their beliefs and faith. Mine, for example, has been tested so many times, and it still hurts when things like that happen again. And the belief of impermanence, it sticks with me. Things don't stay the same, everything changes. So life can be possible, life can happen. Impermanence is just as capable of bringing about happiness as it is of bringing about suffering. Because of impermanence, we can enjoy the wonder of the 4 beautiful seasons. Because of impermanence, illness can be cured. Because of impermanence, anything can change and transform in a more positive direction. The first law of thermodynamics, the law of conservation. Everything is in transformation. The total energy of a system is constant. The energy can be transferred but not lost, because energy can neither be created, neither destroyed. You look at the sky and you see a cloud, but a beautiful cloud. The cloud moves away and disappears, and you think, where did my cloud go? And the cloud turns into rain, and you look inside your cup of tea, there is your cloud. That's Thich Nhat Hanh, is a Vietnamese monk. We can decide to have kids, but we don't ever get to choose where they are going to or when. We would like to share with you our beautiful boy, Elvis star Knowles-Hamester. The 10th of June 2020 was Elvis' birth and death. But his life started way before that. He lived 9 beautiful months with his family. His life started Ibiza in Spain over holidays. And we actually felt like he was already there before that because of our desire to have him in our lives. I remember being on a night flight to Ibiza because it was what we could afford, and the whole plane was full of party goers, drunk, screaming and singing out loud. And they looked at us with Gus and how chilled Gus was, and they thought we were the coolest parents because we take our children on holidays to Ibiza. And that's true. We are pretty cool. We're pretty cool parents. I mean, just look at us.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
But we weren't there for party. We were there to rest and take the very much needed time away from the stress of everyday life and put our plans in practice. And I apologize for that, Garth. It was a terrible week with storms all over Spain. Some of you can probably remember the news on the TV of how bad it was. Our room had water leaking through the roof every night, but we were happy. It wasn't one of those pregnancies that parents keep trying and thinking, was it this time? No, not Elvis. It was there and then, and we knew it in our hearts. His mom was so sure that she even felt different the next morning, and she looked prettier to me. Elvis came back home with us from Spain. We got our confirmation of his presence on the 28th of September 2019 on a pharmacy stick. I can still remember how happy we were. That moment of excitement that you just want to tell everybody, but we promised not to tell at that point. A few weeks later, I couldn't hold the excitement and I confessed to Tony. I told a mate from work, Adam, and Ian. And Tony confessed to me she had done the same. We both, without planning, had done the exact same. Told people we were close and trusted, but that didn't know our families, so they wouldn't end up ruining the surprise for everyone else. And that's how excited we were. On the 5th of November, as a good Irish descent, Elvis visited Ireland for a big family reunion, the funeral of our much-loved Uncle Owen. On November 18th, we saw Elvis for the first time, the first scan at the hospital. We didn't know it was a boy, we didn't care about his gender. He was a healthy little baby, and that was all we cared all the way until the end of the pregnancy. We were just happy to have him and to be his parents. A few days later, Elvis celebrated his brother Gus' 2-year birthday, along with friends and their kids. In December, Elvis went to Brazil for a 5-week-long holiday. And looking back now, it was our baby moon. By then, he was an airplane expert and even flew business class. In Brazil, we took him to the jungle, to the waterfalls, to islands, to boat trips, to dive and stand up paddling. He bathed in rivers, lakes and in the sea, and squirmed around his mother's belly every time. He felt the sun that shines like nowhere else in the world. He heard the animals, elephants, lions, tigers, monkeys. It sounds like a lot of dangerous adventures, but his parents were always so worried and cautious to protect him that we wouldn't even forget constant spray of natural mosquito repellent to protect the baby from tropical diseases and stuff. Back home in UK, his mother took him to watch one of her retreats as a proud boy and to house hunt with us. He celebrated Mother's Day, his mother's birthday, experienced Easter sugar rush, his father's birthday. He gave me a book and I read it to him, and even had his baby shower over Zoom right in the middle of a right in the middle of the world pandemic disease, but the friends were not going to be stopped by it to show their affection and love for him. He had friends. He was loved. He did yoga every morning with his mom. He heard music and bedtime stories and our voices talking to him. And his brother laughed, and his brother voice saying, "Hi baby, I love you baby," and a singing and rock and roll. And he danced a lot. He went to the beach and to the forest. And he celebrated, we bought our first home. And he felt hundreds of tummy kisses and touched my hand and had a hiccup attack as I was trying to tickle his feet. Elvis was perfect in every possible way. He didn't live in sin. He didn't have a sense of self. A child only developed the categorical self between 18 and 30 months of age. Elvis was his mom. Elvis was the universe. He spent 42 wonderful weeks experiencing life from the best seats, cocooned in his mommy's tummy, feeling his family love every single day. Was Elvis' life short? Elvis didn't know our constructions and dynamics of time and space. If we measure life by its qualities and not its quantity, then Elvis' life was full. And that's all a parent can ask for their children. Living life to the fullest. Never feeling a day of pain and surrounded in love. In peace he lived and in peace he rested. The 10th of June was also the same date that 9 years before Tony and I met for the first time. Elvis, our son, if you can hear us, your life will never cease to exist in our hearts, in our minds, and in our memories as we try to move forward in life. Our darling boy, Elvis Star, we miss you so much. We love you with all our love. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to say anything? It's just so difficult.
How could any of us say it? Set the stage so high, but I think you covered it.
Yeah. But I took this away, so we've got your hands. And actually, we're just going to give you a hand to show you how to do this. Obviously,
Sure.
Can you show them how to do it?
God, can you join me?